Hi guys, and thank you so much for joining me. I'm just going to double check that the sound is okay. If you can just let me know in the comments. Oh, it's been a while. I feel like I haven't been live for ages now. Let me double check the sound. Yeah, it seems to be working fine. Okay, I'll just wait a couple of minutes because I want to share something with you. We can have a look at it together. So in this live, I'm going to talk about summer wells. More specifically about an interview Candus Bly gave. Oh, by the way, hello from the UK. So it's 12:30 in the night at the moment here. Where are you guys? What time is it? Okay, I think I am ready to share with you a video. This is taken from a Crazy Crime Chick YouTube channel. Okay, let's hear this.
And that's her little swing right there off that tree. She loved to play right there in that yard. That was her favorite spot to be. So whoever took her had to actually come up into the yard and take her. And I don't understand because, like, my neighbor heard her scream, but I didn't hear her scream because I was in the house with the boys trying to find her. And I guess when my neighbor heard her scream, I was actually in the house and the TV was going. So I didn't even hear the scream.
So the audio you just heard of Candus was sent over on June 20th. And the reason I thought it was important to play for you guys.
Okay, so this was the video that I wanted to share with you. Hi, Leanne from Australia, 9 in the morning. Wow, that's a big difference. Did you see this video before? So it seems that Candace gave an interview, which I think it was in the middle of June, where she mentioned that the neighbor heard Summer screaming, yet she didn't hear because she was in the house with the boys and the TV was on. So whilst they were out searching for Summer, but they were in the house and they didn't hear anything because the TV was on. I mean, to me, that seems really suspicious because obviously if you are looking for your missing child, you won't turn the TV on, will you? Because you want to make sure that you hear in case she screams or shouts or whatever she's doing. So what do you guys think happened? I've made a couple of videos around summer wells so far. And if I'm honest, in my opinion, I don't really think that she ever got home that day. And also there are some strange things like, for example, where is the grandma gone? Where is Candy gone? Why did she leave town? I'm quite sure at least Candus Bly would appreciate the support in these times, but she decided to leave town. That seems a bit off. I think I have also, I listened to the interview with Hunter. I listened to the interview with Candace from Chris McDonough YouTube channel, from the interview room. And there are a lot of contradictions there between Hunter, between Candus, and between Ellie as well. Obviously, Ellie, more or less, her statement or her interview or whatever she's saying can't really be reliable, because honestly, I think that that's mostly hearsay. So she's just saying what Hunter told her happened, because most of the time she wasn't there, apart from when Candus went to pick up Hunter from their house. But whatever she said happened, it's all according to what Hunter told her, so that is not reliable. Then also we have Dawn as well, who again, we can consider that hearsay, because Dawn wasn't there either, as far as we know, and he only knows what happened from Candus, from what she told him. So again, the most not reliable, but let's just say for a moment reliable would be Candus Bly, because she was with Summer that day. And yes, we also know that Hunter and Candus Bly, they are sort of fighting about the timeline and about the line of events and about what exactly happened. So this is a bit difficult, honestly, because at this point, there's absolutely no evidence of anything really. All we have is Summer, she's gone missing, she's nowhere to be found. We don't know if she got home. We don't even know what time they got home. I'm going to make another video and about Candus and Hunter's interviews. And also, I think that, yes, I know there was a video on TikTok which was uploaded by Candus with Summer swimming at the swim hole, which was stamped 12/21, time stamped. But again, if you are using TikTok, you know that you can actually pre-record the video and you can upload it later. Also, as for the last video of Summer sleeping in the car, again, it was timestamped at 3:09 in the afternoon, but again, that could have been pre-recorded. So here we only have whatever Candus is telling us. Hi, Sharon. Who's Hunter? I haven't heard that name before. Hunter is the 15-year-old boy who went swimming at the swim hole on the day Summer went missing. His mom is Allison. I know that Candus and Allison, they were quite good friends up to some point where something happened between them. They had some kind of arguments and they fell off, so they don't really like each other anymore. They don't really get along. So Hunter was at the swimming hole with Candus and Summer and Grandma as well. And Candus, she actually picked up Hunter from his place before they went together to the swimming hole, whilst they were waiting for Grandma to finish with the hospital, and whilst they were waiting for the prescription to be filled at the pharmacy. So Hunter went with them. Now, according to Hunter, in his interview, he said that Candus Bly bought him twisted tea, puff bars, and they were there at the swim hole, and Candus with her mom, they were looking at flowers while Summer was sleeping. Hunter is the one who also mentioned that Summer was for a couple of seconds underwater, and he jumped in the water and took off his shirt, and then he took her out of the water. But then Candus is also saying that, yes, Hunter was with them, but as soon as they got there, he just disappeared into the woods, so he didn't really stay with them. If you analyze both their interviews, especially Candus' interview after what Hunter is saying in his interview, then it sort of makes more sense what Candus is saying rather than what Hunter is saying. because she is giving details which in Hunter's timeline are kind of missing, if you get what I mean. Is he, Sharon is saying, is he the one that is said to be having an affair with Candus? Well, you could say that there are rumors going around that he was having an affair with Candus. I honestly don't believe that is true. He's 15-year-old, and to be honest, at this point, I believe that there was some kind of an argument happening between Allison and Candus. They were good friends at one point, but they fell off somehow. Something happened between them, and I really think that Allison and Hunter, who is Allison's son, she's sort of making things up. I think I'm not sure, obviously, because there's no proof out there. But it feels to me like she's saying things out of revenge, and then she's also saying things which she shouldn't know. Plus, she's saying things that Hunter said which he didn't say in his interview. But then she knows, although she wasn't at the swimming hole. Like, say for example, Hunter said that Summer went underwater for a couple of seconds. He went in the water, he took her out, he made sure she's fine, and so on. But then Allison, she's saying that Summer slid on a rock and then she fell into the water. However, Allison wasn't there to see. Only Hunter was there to see. And Hunter is not mentioning anything about slipping on a rock. So where is Allison taking this from? You know, that's what I mean. There are a couple of things which don't make sense in Hunter's interview, but they do make more sense the way that Candus is saying. I'm going to be making a separate video on exactly the contradictions between the latest interview with Candus Bly, after Hunter already came up with the timeline and after he got the interview done. So you will see that there are a lot of discrepancies in the interview, in the timeline, by the way Hunter is saying and the way Candus is saying. So honestly, I think that only Candus knows exactly what happened with Summer. That's what I think. I have a feeling that Summer never got back home. She went in the morning in the car when they took Grandma to the hospital, but I don't think she ever got home. And it kind of makes sense because the dogs picked up her scent at the house down to the road, but the scent stopped at the road, which would make sense that Summer went out of the house and she went in the car, but she never came back. Otherwise, the dogs would pick up the scent. So again, Sharon, I'm going back to you because there are so many rumors going on out there, but honestly, these are just rumors. They are sometimes people, you know, they are trying to make something out of nothing. And honestly, I don't know if you are familiar with Orrin and Orson West case. It happened in that case as well, where a lot of YouTubers and YouTube channels, they just came up with stuff just for the sake of getting more views and making money or whatever. I'm not accusing anyone. I'm not pointing fingers. I'm just saying that these kind of rumors, they actually do not help the investigation. They do not help in finding Summer. They just add to even more people believing what someone is saying, and then they just go and spread it around like it would be a fact. Although it just started as a rumor, and it is a rumor. There is another rumor going around, because you said about him having an affair with Candus. There is another rumor going around that there was a sex offender who was the neighbor who was there living. They were saying that this sex offender was Grandma's boyfriend, but they gave a name of a person who is completely unrelated to anyone, and that person, he was actually 15 hours away from Ben Hill Road when Summer went missing. So for someone to just go out there, go and search online and just find a sex offender in the area and just post it online, and say, oh, you know what, this is the boyfriend or whoever, he must have something to do with Summer, without even checking the facts, right? It's not okay. It's not right. You just you just push names out there of people who are not even related to the case, who maybe don't even know who we are talking about, and it just damages the case, really. And even the investigator said that it's getting ridiculous, really. And it always starts from a certain YouTuber, and then it just spreads everywhere. The truth is that there is no evidence whatsoever about what happened with Summer. All we know is that on June 15th, she went to the swimming hall, and then later on, she was missing. We don't know how. We don't even know exactly when. I mean, the call went at 6:30 in the evening, and there are a couple of hours which are unaccounted for from the timeline. If we are to say that video, the last video at 3:09 p.m. was taken a few minutes before they got home, as Candus was saying, then from 3 o'clock, from let's say 3:30 up until 6:30, there is nothing. So there is this gap in the timeline, and it's very hard. So Sharon is saying, I watched the video yesterday and they said that it is Dawn who molested his stepsister when she was very young. She has given interviews about it. Yes, I have watched that as well. The interviews that Dawn gave and the interviews that the stepsister gave as well. Well, you see, again, we can only listen to them and get some ideas from there, but again, we don't know. It's between the stepsister and Dawn. Dawn is saying one thing, she's saying a different thing. She's saying that she was very young. Dawn is saying that she wasn't that young. Again, it's he said that, she said that. It's just the same as in the interviews with Hunter, with Allison, with Dawn, with Candus. It's all about he said, she said. At this point, we don't know anything. Yeah, I've just seen that there was a video posted a couple of hours ago saying that Dawn confessed to molesting her, the stepsister. In another interview that he gave, I believe it was with the Interview Room YouTube channel, he mentioned that his stepsister was younger than him, but she was around 10, 11. Now, again, you see, hi, Skippy. Thank you so much for joining. Skippy is saying speculation is all we have, but YouTubers are constantly making irresponsible claims presented as fact. Yeah, this is what really annoys me, and that's why I usually try to stay away from all these things, because it's just speculation. Yes, agreed. We can speculate as much as we want, come up with our own theories, discuss about it. But you can't just go out there in front of the whole world and go and say, this is a fact. I have evidence of this. This is the evidence. That is the evidence. When in fact, we don't have any evidence whatsoever. The only probable evidence the investigators will have that, and they will be releasing with the public whatever they feel is necessary, and something which doesn't hurt the investigation. But for someone out there who is outside of the police investigation to go and say, I know this for a fact, no, you can't do that, because you are not the investigator on the case, so you have no idea what evidence there is out there. Sharon is saying it's all so sad. I hope they find her alive. I hope so as well. It's very, very sad. One thing that I am not very clear about is the scream that Candus is saying the neighbor heard. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the live, I find that very hard to believe, in the sense that the neighbor heard Summer screaming, yet Candus didn't hear Summer screaming. when allegedly she went missing from the property, and Candus with the boys, with her brothers, were in the house. But then Candus says that the TV was on, so that's why she didn't hear. I'm not in clear with this, because I find it weird that someone would keep the TV on whilst they are in the house looking for someone. Maybe they are calling her name. So how are they going to hear if she replies, if the TV is on? You know, there are a couple of things which just don't make sense. So the neighbor, which is so far away from the property, they hear the scream, yet Candus and the boys who are on the property, they don't hear the screams. I have no idea if the police interviewed the neighbors, but I'm quite sure that they did at this point. I have no idea. I haven't seen anywhere being posted or the police saying anything about it. I'm just assuming they might have. I think that that's where they would go first before going anywhere else. So anyway, if you've heard or if you've seen this video, this interview with Candus saying that the neighbor heard the screams, do you think that that's possible for the neighbor to hear the screams, yet Candus didn't hear the screams? Skippy is saying this is incredible unless the neighbor has the hearing of a dog and Candus is deaf. Yes, I have to agree with you on that, yes. Plus, you have a whole wooded area there before the neighbor. I assume that Candus mentioned the neighbor, which is just on the road, at the end of their own road. I've seen on Google Maps. Again, we don't know which neighbor she's talking about. I'm just assuming it's that neighbor because that would be the closest one to their property. But that would mean that the neighbor heard the screams across the wooded area, which, no, it's weird. It's weird. It's not credible at all, in my opinion as well. So yes, Skippy, I agree with that. Oh, I have a really bad glare on this computer from the light. I can barely see anything. Oh God. I've just moved house not so long ago and I still don't have a space to record. So as you can tell from the background, I'm in the kitchen. So we've heard some other rumors about that Don was in fact home when Summer went missing. Some people are saying that he didn't go to work. Some people are saying that he went to work. Some people are saying that, well, let's start again. According to Hunter's interview, Hunter is saying that Don took the kids, two of the kids, to work with him that day. And then in the middle of halfway through the time they spent in the city by at the swimming hole and where they went to the hospital and also the pharmacy for the prescription and for groceries, Don called Candus and he said, this is according to Hunter's interview. So Hunter is saying that Don said on the phone there was a guy on their property looking at little kids. And then Hunter was asking himself, if Don was at work, how did he know that there is someone on the property looking at kids? This is what Hunter is saying, right? Candus is saying that that is not true, and that's not the reason why Dawn called her. But Dawn only wanted to know what time they get home. So do we believe that Dawn was home, or do we believe that Dawn was at work? And also, where was Dawn's workplace? Do you guys have any information on that? Honestly, I couldn't find this anywhere. Sharon is saying, I think Summer looks younger and smaller in the photo of her asleep in the car. Well, if we are to go about on what Candus said, that video was taken at 3:09. Now, I just mentioned a bit earlier in this live that, yes, the timestamp will be 3:09 when you upload the video on TikTok. However, you can also upload pre-recorded videos. So the only word we have is Candace's word and whoever was the other person in the car at that time. Some people speculate it was the grandma, other people speculate it was Hunter. Some people say is the grandma's voice, other people say is a boy's voice. So again, we are not sure. The only person who knows that for sure is Candus, and the other person who was in the car when the video was recorded. Hi, April. Thank you so much for joining. So you're in the UK, same as me, yes. Unfortunately, I can't really schedule my lives, so I just get on in the session whenever I can. So Skippy says it's a 40 minutes drive from the house at normal speeds. Don says he made it back in about 25 minutes. Yes, Don did mention that, and also he made sure to mention that he got there before the police did. So now I don't know, where does he work? I have no idea. I don't know. I tried to find the info online, but I couldn't find it. As far as I understand, he has some kind of a business and he deals in construction. He also did say in one of the interviews, it was with Chris McDonough, when he said that he employed a guy who was on drugs. He used to use drugs, and then he let the guy go just before Summer went missing. And Don thinks that the guy, because he was so angry that Don let him go, he did something with Summer when she went missing. This is what Don said in the interview. So April is saying Don called Candus when they were driving back from the waterhole. She told everyone to be quiet, so she was obviously worried about Dawn knowing who she was with. Yes, that can be either that, or she just wanted everyone to be quiet so she can hear. I mean, there are so many things that you can think of it. Now, the thing is that Hunter in his interview is saying that Dawn told Candus on the phone when he called that there was a guy on their property looking at small children. Candus is saying that that's not true. That's not what Dawn said. She said Dawn just wanted to know when they will be back home. So, you know, there are so many contradicting info out here that you don't even know who to believe. April is also saying now, I don't think he was bothered about her being with her mom, that he might have been bothered that Hunter was with her. So, April, why do you think that might be, that Hunter was with her? Skippy is saying Dawn has gradually gone from a stranger abduction certainty to countless other possibilities. Aliens will be next. Yes, I agree with you, Skippy. I am not sure why he's doing that, but he is so focused and so fixed on the abduction. It makes me feel in a way that he had something to do with it. I mean, this is just my opinion. It's not a fact. It's not evidence. It's nothing. I'm just saying that he's trying so hard to push this on someone else, as if he's just trying to get the focus off of him. So I don't know what he's trying to accomplish here. My assumption is that he might not have been involved with what happened to Summer, but he could have helped after the fact. I honestly don't know. April is saying, I think he came home raging. Him and Candace had a fight, and Polita Summer somehow got caught in the crossfire. You know, I've been thinking about that as well, because I was also thinking about Dawn and the domestic disturbance. It was in 2020 when Candace called the police, and when she also filed for an order of a restriction order. Sorry, she also filed for a restriction order, but then she changed her mind. And I honestly do think that she is, or she was, truly abused. And you know, in so many cases, victims of domestic abuse, they usually go back to the same person, especially when kids are involved, because they are probably thinking, how am I going to survive without his money? How am I going to survive only with the kids? Who is going to support me? So they tend usually to forgive and carry on, hoping that he will change. This is how domestic abuse is. Now, I can't say that this is the case here, but that could be a possibility. I was also thinking about that. And also when that thing happened in 2020 and Don, he punched himself in the face and then he left, that makes me question, how is he when he's angry? Then how is he dealing with, how would he be dealing with Summer's tantrums? Because come on, let's be honest, she's a 5-year-old. 5-year-olds, they have tantrums, they shout, they scream, they cry, you know, they don't listen to you, they can do stupid things or whatnot. I mean, I have an almost 5-year-old and he drives me insane. So thinking about Don and his drinking as well, his violent behavior in 2020, that kind of makes me question, how was he with Summer? Because Summer, she was the youngest. You know, toddlers and young children, they are usually challenging, especially to a person who has a temper, and they lose their temper quickly. Now, I'm not saying that this is Dawn. I'm just saying, according to what happened in 2020, how are we to know that he's still not doing these things? Hi, Shertilian. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing this right somehow. I wouldn't say shapeshifter, if I'm honest. I mean reptilian. Let me catch up on the comments. Hi, Tessels. Thank you for joining. So April is also saying yes because he went to a party without Candace. So Candace is playing catch up as far as and what would be more annoying to an old narcissist than my wife's hanging around with a young man? Yes. And not only a narcissist, but if he really was abusing her, that would mean that he had the control over her. He was quite controlling. So I think that when someone is controlling and they also have a violent behavior, then they would just go ballistic when they would see their wife or partner or whatever with another man, a younger man at that. Yeah. April is also saying, I don't know if it's just me, but I find the way he speaks about Summer really creepy. I completely agree with you. You know what? You know, when I don't know if you've seen my interview analysis with Candace and Dawn, but when he did that interview, the thing that stood out the most to me, apart from the fact that they both referred to Summer in the past, only especially when they should refer to her in the present, among other things, that that Summer grabbed his heart in her little hands, and he didn't expect anyone to grab his heart because he tries to shield his heart as much as he can. That thing was that thing doesn't have any place when you have an interview about your missing daughter, about talking about your heart and how she grabbed a hold of your heart, as if you are talking about a relationship or how your heart was broken before from a previous relationship and you are shielding it because you don't want to be hurt again. That just didn't make sense to me. I have no idea why he did say that. What stood out the most to you in the interview? Skippy is saying he's already admitted that he and Candace played dangerous jealousy games and admitted there were reasons for both Candace and the boys may have had reasons to be jealous of his relationship with Summer. I've also heard that, well, other rumors that possibly Candace was jealous of Summer. You see, this can be interpreted in various different ways. Thinking about Don, his boys, his older kids are boys. She is the only girl that he has. So you can take it as probably he spent more time with her. He behaved differently with her than with the boys because she was a girl. Maybe he wanted a girl, you know, he got a girl, so he's how he is with her. Or you can also think about another possibility that because there is alleged sexual abuse in the family history, that can be another possibility. Either that, I'm not sure that he was sexually abusing her or, you know, touching her, or honestly, I don't know, honestly. Like I said, it can be taken in many different ways. Skippy is also saying that's a dangerous dynamic. Don't forget, he also said that Summer used to smack the boys in the head with sticks. Yes, and this makes me wonder, why would she do that unless she's already seen it happening either from Candace or from Dawn or from both, and she just does what she sees and thinks it's okay. This is very, yeah, it's very strange for Summer to do that without her having it seen anywhere else before. I hope I said that right. usually young children, toddlers, and young children, they copy what adults do in general because they think it's okay for them to do that. April is saying nobody ever loved him as much as Summer. Yes, that is also why would he say that? Why didn't he say that his boys loved him as well? The boys. Tassels is saying the reason to stick together is to save a son might be very relevant to this scenario. Oh, you mean to have a son? April is also saying he said Candus didn't bond with Summer. Yes, that as well. I have also read somewhere, again, rumors. I don't mean to spread around rumors, but because you mentioned that he said Candus didn't bond with Summer, I've also read on Reddit, I think it was, somebody was saying that allegedly Candus didn't want Summer, and Grandma said that she will take Summer after she is born. I have no idea if there is any truth to it. I don't know. April is also saying, well, he said the abuse of his sister was instigated by her. She was 5 and he was 12. I listened to an interview with Don about his sister. I never heard him mention that she was 5, so I'm not sure if it's true or not. I know that he said he was underage. He said that she was also underage, but I don't know that he said she was 5, or are these some rumors online? Tassels is saying that's a gaslighter to make mom believe the chosen child doesn't like them and then gaslight the chosen child that mom likes the other children more. That's pedo's MO. The interview room with Chris McDonough. So that's the one I listened to, actually. I'm not sure if there are more, but I didn't hear Dawn mentioning the age, her age, unless I'll double check on that anyway. Well, if he really did say that she was 5 and he was 12 and she instigated it, then that can't be. She was only 5. What did she know about this kind of things? That would mean that uh, that brings a question mark, because also Summer was 5. So if he really did have a history already with someone who was 5, then you could say that it can be a pedo. Skippy is saying he was 7 years older than her. If her story is true, then she was 5. Yes, if her story is true. The only problem is that at this point, again, we have he said, she said. And it's very curious that these people are starting now to talk about Dawn. April is saying, what was the age gap? How much older were you, Dawn? Dawn then gets very shirty. Yes, I've seen that. Going back to what you said, Skippy, so if she was 5, then that is very risky. That's very risky for Summer, I'm saying. So Candace didn't know about this before. Also, I'm wondering, is it not possible that by any chance Candace and Grandma, they arranged for Summer to go somewhere to protect her from Dawn? This can be another possibility as well. Either from sexual abuse or maybe some other kind of abuse. Maybe Summer was abused by him in some way or another, and Candace, she just wanted to get Summer out of there. And with Grandma, they came up with this story, and maybe she's somewhere safe without Dawn knowing where she is. So April is saying the lady in question, Ginny, I think is her name, his stepsister. Her story is true. You can listen to her interview with Chris. I haven't listened to her interview. I've listened to Dawn's interview with Chris, so I'll have to go and do that. Listen to her interview and see what she says. So Skippy is saying the idea of Candace and Grandus being that caring for Summer seems unlikely to me. What makes you say that? Why? Why does it seem unlikely? So April is saying, yes, this is another scenario. Where the hell is grandmother? A lot of people are speculating where grandmother is. Apparently there was, she had to go and help a relative because she had surgery. And it seems that this was already pre-planned before Summer went missing. Other people are saying that Grandma is where Summer is. So again, it's all speculation. Officially, I don't think we know where Grandma is. So where is Grandma? April is saying, yeah, that's the possibility. Maybe grandmother found out that John is a nonce, took Summer away. It could be, it could be. Skippy saying their history of childcare speaks for itself. Well, you do have a point here, if I'm honest, because from all the videos that I've seen with the house as well, and the state the house is in, especially inside, it's just horrendous. I mean, I do understand that they have, a lot of kids and there's a lot of work around the house and I don't know what, but come on, that's just hazards waiting to happen, accidents waiting to happen in that house. And also the same interview that I did an analysis on with Candace and Dawn. Do you think that Candace was on drugs, or was she on some kind of pill, or was she drunk? I mean, something was with her. That's for sure. The way she was talking, the way she was blinking, like if she couldn't talk properly, she was on something. Now I don't know, was it drugs? I know that she's using drugs, but what I didn't understand was, why would you present yourself the way they did when it's about an interview about your missing daughter? It doesn't make sense. So April is saying to Skippy, do you know that Candace has 2 older daughters due to her addiction to meth? Now why would you go and pump out for more children to neglect? You would be surprised how many parents do that just to get some more what? I don't know. Well, I don't know what they think they can achieve with that. I have no idea. But the problem is that when it's about drugs and about drug addiction, some parents, they even sell their children, their own children, and they even offer sexual services of their children just for some more drugs for them. I have seen a comment from you, April, but I don't know why it was held for review. I'm going to try and see if I can put it back here. Oh yeah, it's come up now. Okay. Not this one. Which one is it? This. Sorry guys, I don't have any mods on, so it's just me dealing with the comments. Okay, for some reason, April, I can't put that comment on the screen, but I'm going to read it. She's an ex-meth head, so she probably had pills, really pokey weed. Oh, Skippy, you can see the comment. For some reason, I can't see the comment on StreamYard. I can see it on the YouTube dashboard, but I'm using StreamYard. Okay, that's fine. If everybody can see the comment, I don't know why I can't see it, but it's fine. Oh, by the way, there is, I was actually going to make a separate live about that, but I'm going to talk about it now because my plan was to get a live done a couple of days ago, but I couldn't manage it. So I know that the boys were taken away by social services after someone went missing. There is also about this a lot of speculation going about online that the kids were taken because of neglect. Now, as much as I believe that to be the case, I don't think that there is anything officially confirmed that they have been taken because of neglect. I know that Don was saying at one point that in an interview that they were taken because he had enough about all these lies going around about him and Candace, and he got to drinking and among other things he said. So he was drinking and that's why the kids were taken away. So again, I just wanted to address this as well, that I haven't seen it anywhere confirmed that the kids were taken away because of neglect, as much as this is being talked about on YouTube. Maybe StreamYard says you can't say math. Well, StreamYard doesn't say anything. It just didn't show the comment. I don't know. I didn't check terms and conditions for StreamYard yet. It's the first time I'm using it. I used to use something else before. So April is saying she's probably not in a place to get meth. So addicted people fill the gaps with whatever they can get their hands on. Yes, yeah, I know. This addiction is one of the worst possible addictions. April is saying the TBI wanted to chat with those boys, in my humble opinion. As far as I am aware, the TBI did have a chat with the boys, but I don't know what about, again, they didn't make this information public. April is also saying, yeah, you have to take into consideration these boys aren't going to open up and spill the beans about their lifestyle. I think you do have a point here. Especially if they lived in a violent household, then they will be more likely not to talk because of them being scared, really. But I think that the police in general, they have psychologists who are specially trained to deal with this kind of situation and to interview kids. So I've seen an interview with Don and one of the boys, and it seemed to me like that boy, he was really, really scared of Don. Now, this is what I saw. I'm not saying that's the case, but that looked to me as if he was really scared of Don. Exactly, they need to be in a caring therapeutic environment where they could open up and talk about their life and their feelings. Yes. As far as I am aware, they went to a foster family, didn't they? Skippy is saying, I don't think CPS would have taken the boys away because of Summer's disappearance. It was because of pre-existing neglect. Well, in the same news article, I've read from, this is coming from Dawn and Candus as well, that they've been to juvenile court, and they did confirm that the boys were not taken away because Summer went missing, but because of something which happened previously. However, they said they cannot talk about that, and so far there's nothing official about that. So April is also saying, yes, I saw that son of his didn't look comfortable at all. Yeah, I mean, you could argue that perhaps it was the first time he was in front of the camera. Maybe he was nervous, maybe he was shy, but it just seemed to me really, really strange. Don's interaction with him, with the boy, and the boy's behavior after Don's interaction. You know, if you've seen how Don put his hand on his kid's arm, he just didn't seem comfortable at all, that kid. April is also saying, because if you grow up in an abusive home, you don't know what it's like to grow up in a normal family. Yes, I completely agree with you. Especially, yes, yeah, when you grow up. And this is all you see, and for you, this is the normal. So you don't think that something is out of the ordinary there. April is also saying, according to her friend Ellie, the CPS was supposed to turn up that week one day. Yes, well, according to Dawn also said that after Summer went missing, the boys were screaming in the house because they were trying to deal with Summer's disappearance, and Child Protective Services from down the road, they started running towards the house to check on the boys. Now, again, I don't know if Don is exaggerating here or he's telling the truth, because he said that the boys were just screaming and shouting because they didn't deal very well with Summer's disappearance. Now, again, this is Don. We know how Don likes to, I'm not going to say sugarcoat, because it's not so much sugarcoating as it is exaggerating and lying, really. Skippy is saying, yes, Don's interaction physically with his boy was more controlling than comforting. Yes, that wasn't comforting at all. I didn't feel any comfort there whatsoever. Huh. You're probably right there. By the way, it seems that according to one of Candus's interviews on the interview room, Summer was sleeping in the same bed with Candus and Don. Now, I'm not going to take this in any weird way that they were sleeping in the same bed, unless, of course, you think about Don being a pedo, which is really bad, actually. Exactly. Don't we have to think of it that way? Now we know what we know about him. Yes, I mean, obviously it is suspicious, isn't it? And the more things you learn and you read about and you hear, the more you kind of, make up your own mind as to what you think happened. So April is saying, unless I'm just a horrible mother because I love my daughter to death, but I never wanted a little buggy sleeping in my bed every night. Well, if I'm honest with you, I sleep with my almost 5-year-old still. He's not sleeping on his own. And we were in a situation where we just didn't have enough space to put an extra cot in. So he got used to sleeping with someone else in the bed since he was a baby. Now we moved house again, and we are all sleeping on a mattress on the floor because we have so many repairs that needed doing, and we just couldn't finish the flooring. So again, all of us sleep together on mattresses. So that on its own, it doesn't seem really odd to me. Now again, you're obviously, April, I'm not saying you're a horrible mother. You're not a horrible mother. All I'm saying is that to me doesn't seem odd on its own. But when you add together so many other things, then you start questioning. Skippy is saying sleeping in the same bed every night for 5 years, even if you exclude the most sinister. It tells you that either Dawn and Candace didn't have sex, did it outside, or had it with Summer by their side. Oh, hold on, I'm gonna keep this on. Well, like I just said, now I am sleeping in the same bed with my almost 5-year-old, and I have been sleeping with him since he was a baby. And me and my husband, we sleep in separate rooms because I need to sleep with him. So no, on its own, to me that doesn't seem weird, if I'm honest, because I'm doing the same thing really. As for the other things you mentioned, you do them whenever and wherever you can. You find a way around it. You don't no, Skippy, you don't need to do that. I didn't get offended with anything. I am just saying that on its own, to me, it doesn't seem weird. But like I just mentioned, when you add all of these other things together, like Don and his stepsister, and the way that Don talks in his interview about Summer, and so many other things that he says, then yeah, it will bring a question mark. And you think about the possibility that what if he did something. April is saying, oh yes, that's different. If I had to have them because the rooms weren't ready, but supposedly Summer's bedroom was right next door. Yes, actually, April, you are right. Summer's bedroom was right next door, so I'm wondering why did she sleep with them then, if the room was ready? Oh yes, I remember because I've seen a video with Candace when she was doing that house walkthrough, and she was showing the bed that Summer was sleeping in. I'm not sure was she supposed to be sleeping in the basement, or was her bedroom in the extension that Don built a couple of years ago? Skippy is saying, but there wasn't another bed there, was there? If you mean in my situation, then no, there wasn't. April, I know this is for Skippy, but I'm going to put it on the screen. Just, I'm waiting for the answer because I'm curious as well. Curiosity killed the cat. Oh no, I was hoping she'd say yes. Or he. I apologize if I said it wrong. Oh yes, roll call. What was that? You wanted to say yes, okay. But you couldn't. You had to be honest. Oh, a sandwich shop. Okay. So I have a theory of mine about dry drowning, which is very similar to secondary drowning, but secondary drowning is set a bit later than dry drowning. So what do you think about that? If we are to take into account what Hunter said in his interview, that Summer went underwater and he took her out. If we are to say that was true, then the theory of dry drowning would be possible, because dry drowning happens when you have an accident in the water. And maybe if we are also to take into account the last video of Summer, let's say it was at 309, where she was wearing different clothes and she was sitting on the milk jugs. One of the symptoms of dry drowning is actually fever, apart from others, obviously. And I was thinking maybe Candace might have put the milk jugs there on purpose to cool Summer down, because she was thinking that maybe Summer has a fever from a heat stroke, or from just being overtired, rather than her having actual symptoms of dry drowning. And maybe the next time when she checked on Summer was already gone. I was thinking about that as a possibility. Now I'm not sure, just taking into consideration what Hunter said in his interview and also the last video. April is saying, oh my god, this was the first I've ever heard of dry drowning. Well, apparently dry drowning can happen minimum 1 hour after, even a bit earlier than 1 hour after you had a water accident. But the difference between dry drowning and secondary drowning is that secondary drowning usually happens 24 hours after, and that is because water got into your lungs. As for dry drowning, it's got to do with the airways because of the impact. So I actually have some, I think I can put this on the screen. I'm not sure. I'll double check. I actually have my research here. I was talking about it in one of my other videos. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share my screen with you, and I'm going to show you symptoms of dry drowning, because it seems to me like this is a high possibility. Let's see if I know how to do this. I'm sharing the screen. So these are the 5 signs of dry drowning, not secondary drowning, but both of them are quite similar in terms of symptoms. But like I said, for secondary drowning, it happens 24 hours after the accident in the water happened. Can you see the photo on your screen? Oh, no, you can see it now. Oh. So yeah, these are the symptoms of dry drowning: coughing, chest pain, fever, trouble breathing, feeling extremely tired, change in behavior. We don't know all of these symptoms if she had them, because obviously we were not there to see, but I'm thinking the fever side of it, and the milk jugs, and then also the trouble breathing. I'm thinking that if you have seen the last video of her where Candus was asking, or sorry, not Candus, but the other person was asking if she's still holding her hand in a certain position, could that have been because she had trouble breathing and maybe they didn't realize? And also feeling extremely tired. Maybe Candus confused her tiredness with actually herself being tired from so much swimming and spending so many hours in the city. And again, the drop in energy levels when Summer was sleeping. Maybe Candus confused that with Summer being tired from the trip, really. So Skip is saying it's true that you can drown in a puddle, but I don't buy it unless she was intoxicated. As far as we know, she was only waist deep. Yes, but if we are to take into account what Hunter said, that she went underwater for a couple of seconds. He said first time they were like 3 seconds, and then Ellison was saying that they were like 20 or 30 seconds. So that is considered an accident underwater. If she took water in, she could have, dry drowned. So April is also saying is the first thing you do if your child has a fever, you put a cold flannel on them. Yes, you do that. Yes, you usually also take their clothes off and you give them something which is thinner to bring the temperature down. But maybe because it's kind of a contradiction, because you see Summer dressed. I'll see if I can put that photo on the screen. I'm sharing again. Okay, share. Right. Okay, so this is the photo. So if you look at Summer, she was wearing a long top, long sleeve top, sorry, and a pair of trousers. Now this kind of defeats the purpose, but maybe not everybody knows that you are meant to be taking their clothes off of them to keep them cool. So Candace, I think it can be a possibility. What Candace tried to do was to put the milk there because the milk was cold because they bought it from the store. So it was obviously was in the fridge, and perhaps she was trying to keep the temperature down. So April is asking, what's the difference between dry drowning? Okay, I'll just read you an article now. What is the difference? I want to, get it to you as accurate as I possibly can. So I'm just going to read from Medical Associates website. Dry drowning happens when water is inhaled and causes muscle spasm in the airway, which blocks the airflow. With secondary drowning, water is inhaled into the lungs. The water irritates the lungs, which can cause them to fill with fluid. This is also known as pulmonary edema, making it difficult to breathe. So basically, in a secondary drowning, the water gets into the lungs. In dry drowning, the water is inhaled and causes spasm in the airway, which blocks the airflow. So the water doesn't get into the lungs. But it sort of drowns, the water drowns you, basically, even if you're not in the water anymore. Skippy is saying, I think Hunter's rescue story is just self-serving. I'm Superman stuff. You could be right with that. I mean, according to Candace, to her interview, Candace is saying that Hunter was not, he basically ran off into the woods when they got to the swimming hole. And also, if you think again about the same video when Summer was swimming, in the video, you can also see Hunter. He was really happy when, he was topless and he was quite happy. He was playing in the water with Summer. So I don't know if I see that as him rescuing Summer, because otherwise why would he seem so happy in the video? So there are a lot of things which there are contradictions in the way that Hunter is saying it happened in his story. April is saying also there's controversy around the tracksuit that Summer was wearing, because apparently that was brought for her first day at school. Yes, I've heard about that, yes. I mean, my almost 5-year-old, he's going to start school in September now as well. I already bought all the uniform for him, and I wasn't thinking at all that I should dress him now in those same clothes that he's going to be going to wear at school. So I don't know. It seems a bit weird to me that she'll be wearing her clothes for school during holiday. I don't know. Unless I can't see any unless here, honestly. Why? I don't know, unless they were the only ones clean. I honestly have no idea. So April is saying, I'm so glad I didn't know this earlier, as my daughter would not have been allowed to learn to swim. Well, this shouldn't, it is, this is one of the risks, but it doesn't really happen often. It happens quite rare. So I was mentioning this because a few things really stuck out to me, like, for example, the milk jugs. What is their purpose there? Why is Summer leaning on the milk jugs? I don't really see a reason for that apart from this, honestly. I mean, yes, obviously, when kids fall asleep in the car, they won't stay in the same place, especially young kids. They will just sleep in whatever position, in weird positions, really. So I would think that you would put something to the side to support them so they don't sleep uncomfortable. But those milk jars, they don't look comfortable. So honestly, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Unless she just didn't care and she just chucked the bottles there. But the seat next to Summer was empty. The milk bottles could have been put on the floor as well, behind the front seats, or in the back as well. Why didn't they put them in the back? I mean, there are so many questions. April is also saying, yes, exactly. I don't think Summer would have needed saving. She would have gone in the drink for a minute and then popped up because confident young swimmers, that's what they do. This is what Candus was saying. Candus was saying that Summer loved doing that, like dipping into the water and then coming back up, that she's done it so many times before. Skippy is saying we have the advantage of every witness being unreliable. There you go, yes. So you can't really believe anyone, can you? Who can you believe? Who can you trust? Okay, so now comes the question of what do you think happened with Summer Wells? Do you think that she's still alive? I'll wait for your answers in the comments. Let's see, what do you guys think? What are your theories as to what happened? So April is saying, I said my theory earlier. I think that Candace and Dawn got into it and Polita Summer got caught in the crossfire and they've hidden her and nobody is going to find that baby. Where do you think that they've hidden her? I mean, honestly, if I entertain your theory for a minute, there is so many places around that property that they could have hidden her, and it would probably be almost impossible for the police to go through the whole woodland area to actually find the body. And because they live there, they kind of know the area. So yeah, that can be another possibility. Also, just across from their house, there's a cemetery there, which is just a couple of yards away walking from their house. I don't know if the cemetery is an open type of cemetery. I don't know if anybody looked at that. I'm quite sure that people did look at that. I was just Googling something else, and I was looking around the Ben Hill Road area, and I just came across this cemetery, which was a bit creepy. Oh, yes, thinking that you are looking for a missing child and you come across the cemetery, you know, it's a bit, yeah, unsettling. April is saying, I don't believe for a minute she was abducted. No, I don't believe that as well. It's just the story just doesn't make sense whatsoever. And like Candus also said that she was only gone for 2 minutes, that it's physically impossible for someone in 2 minutes to go inside the house, lure someone out from the basement, grab her, take her into the car, drive away without anybody hearing or seeing anything, without the dogs barking, without someone screaming or shouting. It's just physically impossible. Tessels is saying so many lies, it's a fairy tale. Let's hope Rita Summer wells down a well doesn't become a sad legend like Sweet Fanny Adams. But for Fanny Adams, they found out who did it, didn't they? April is also saying yes, and the boys, the West boys, where are the boys? Yes, that is another one. Yes, that's also, I covered that case as well. I did a couple of videos on that, and I didn't believe their story for a second there. It was just impossible for the boys to go missing. Missing where? Go missing where? Where exactly? It would have been impossible for them. Yeah, I get it that they are boys, they are very energetic, they are toddlers, they run quick, you know, but they don't have such a high stamina. So they run quick and fast, but they get tired fast as well. So it's impossible for them to have run such a long distance that nobody saw them. No, their story just didn't make sense to me. And in a way, I feel that Dawn actually watched Trizelle West's interview. Like I said, I've done the analysis on Candace and Dawn's interview. And I also did the analysis on Trizelle and Jacqueline West's interview when he was in Orrin and Orson West case. And there, the main thing that stood out to me was Dawn talking about the neighbors and how their houses should be searched and the search warrants, but then you can't go around and searching every single house in how did he say, Southeast America or something like that. I can't remember exactly how he worded it, but anyway, there was a similarity. When I heard that, it brought me back to Trizelle West's interview when he said about them searching in the neighbors' houses. I am certain, although I don't have any confirmation, obviously, but I am certain that Dawn watched Trizelle West's interview. What do you guys think? It's just so similar in so many ways. Yes, April is saying is literally looking for a needle in a haystack. Yes, I agree with that. Yes, it is. Just like with Orrin and Orson West. If she is out there in those elements, the wild animals, I think that they will make a good job of, how can I say, getting rid of any evidence that there might be there. Skippy is saying, well, based on little evidence and lots of chaff, if I had to say, and I'd rather not, my guess would be an unintended murder by one of the family and that she was disposed of by the family, sadly. Yes, I think, Skippy, that this is the most likely scenario. And without, like you said, without a lot of evidence, it was one of them, I think, either Candus or Dawn, and the other helped the other one cover it up because they were probably scared that they will be losing the other kids as well. I think this is the one which makes the most sense. Skippy saying not seen that interview. I'll have to watch and compare. I think that you should watch his interview because you will find so many similarities. It seemed like Don watched that interview and got inspiration from there. April is saying, but they're still building the case on the boys, on the West boys. There's someone who came out to say that they spoke to Trizell before those boys were missing. He said he had 4 children. Yes, they are still building the case. I know. They still didn't close the case on the boys. However, they still didn't find the boys. And before the boys were missing, he said he had 4 children. This is the story from the realtor, from the real estate agent who sold the house to Trizell and Jacqueline, the house that they moved into. So Trizell said that he only has 4 kids. I found that suspicious as well. So he told the realtor he only had 4 kids. And yeah, I found that suspicious as well on one hand, but then on the other hand, I'm not sure exactly how mortgages work in the US and the loans. I am not sure if when you get a mortgage out, they assess if the house is suitable for how many kids you have or if you need a bigger house. I'm not sure how it works exactly with adopting and fostering as well. Because it might have been the case that Trizell lied so that they qualify for the house that they wanted to get a mortgage on, if that makes sense. And so they had 2 of their own children. They had 2 adopted children, and they also had 2 foster children. Unless you don't need to declare the foster kids, only your kids and the adopted kids. I am not exactly 100% sure how it works. The boys are going to be rambunctious. My goodness me, that thing, that word rambunctious, that stood out to me in the whole interview, mainly because, first of all, Trizell doesn't talk in that style. He doesn't use this kind of words. Second of all, the context that he used this rambunctious in, he made it seem like he's trying to blame the boys for them going missing. So it's their fault that they were missing because they're rambunctious. They don't stay in a place. They run about everywhere, whatever, you know. But that's exactly. And there was another word that Don used in his interview, which I found a bit out of his way of talking. Elusive. He used that as well, Don. And he doesn't talk like that. So again, I found that a bit strange. Yes, April, I don't think they will find the boys either. Honestly, I don't. It's just been too long. The more time goes by, I think the harder it is to find them. Yes, it was the realtor that said that. Yes, Trizell told the realtor, the real estate agent, as we call them here, that he had only 4 kids. So April, all I know is about the same real estate agent that borrowed Trizell money because he needed a bit of a difference, and she wanted to borrow him money because she felt bad that the mortgage came through later than expected. So she loaned some money to him, and he was paying her back monthly. Now I don't know if there is anything else from anyone in terms of investing in his business, but I do know about this money, but I don't know about any investment really. Yeah, I know that he was writing songs, yes. I didn't know that somebody lent him money for his business. That I didn't know. I wasn't aware. Skippy, rambunctious was used by Trizell West, talking about the boys when they were missing, about Orrin and Orson West. Don used the word elusive, which is a bit out of his... I don't know if I'm pronouncing that word correctly. I'm just going to write it here in the comments. Elusive. That stood out to me though, that word as well in Don's interview. It is good reasoning. It was a viewer on my channel that actually sent this comment to me, and when I read it, it sort of makes sense. So that's why I thought I'll mention it now. April is also saying, and the big cough and grunt he did after he said it, it was almost like he was like, what did I just say? Exactly. Yes. I think that's why he did that cough and the grunt. I think that he was so frustrated at himself that he let himself say what he just did. He realized after probably that it just sounded wrong. But I don't know. I think that this Trizell's and Jacqueline's story, it was rehearsed before, so many times before them going public. Hi, Monica. Thank you for joining. We were foster parents. We had to prove that we had adequate income without the foster monthly payments. Those payments were for the care of the children, not to buy a house. Right. So that brings another question. How was it possible for them to get the house then on a mortgage? There's a lot of inconsistencies there, really. Oh, thank you. Thank you for that. Yay. Oh, really? So Don used the word rambunctious as well. I didn't hear Don say that, but then, yes, it proves my point even further. Oh my God, you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to listen to that interview, both interviews side by side, because I really want to see if I catch anything else. I'm getting more and more convinced that he actually listened or heard or watched Trizell's interview. I'm hearing is the same thing in America as well. Now I'm not sure. You know, one thing about adopting and fostering, yes, I think it's a great quality you have, but I'm really angry at people who take advantage and who take these kids only for the money. I think it's just the most disgusting thing ever, really. It is. I mean, you take that kid and you adopt the kid, and you treat them like they are just an income, really, which is very sad. Yes, I know. I know about that. And his mom worked for Child Protective Services, didn't she? I think. Yes, I will do it. I will first do it by myself, and if I find similar things, I'll just come back to you guys with a video. I really want to do this now. Not now, I'm saying I really want to do it because now I'm curious, even more than I was before. Oh no. Oh no. You have to go sleep. Thank you so much for joining though. And I'm really happy you enjoyed the chat. If you didn't subscribe, don't forget to subscribe and put a notification on so you know about my next video. I'm hoping, well, I'm not saying I'm hoping, I'm saying 100%. If I find similarities, I'm going to be making another video on those two. Hi, Cabin Life. Thank you for joining. Does anyone know what happened to Mountain Girls, her videos? I have no idea, honestly. I think it was you who suggested her channel in the comments, wasn't it? I checked her channel very briefly, but I didn't go back to it, so I'm not sure. Why, has something happened? Thanks, April. Have a good night. I'm going to try it again. Hold on. I'm going to try and check this out. No, it wasn't. We were also talking about some similarities between Summer West case and Orin and Orson West case. So I think it was Trezel's mom who worked for child services. Yes, we are almost towards the end of this live, so we've been going for more than an hour and a half now. Oh, that's weird because I tried to find her channel, but I can't find her channel. And I found her channel a couple of days ago. I'm glad you are here, Cabin. Hi. Thank you for joining, Hag 90. If you are usually following me, I haven't been live for what I feel is like forever. It's been at least, I think, 2 months, maybe even more than that. So Cabin Life is saying, I am from Tennessee. Summer just touched my heart. I went to Seventh-day Adventist Church too. Right, so you are from Tennessee. What time is it there? I'm in the UK and here is 2:20 in the night. No, I had so many things going on lately and I just didn't have time to do proper research for videos until very recently. Yeah, there were just too many things happening at once. We had to move house again. If you are following me, you already know that I moved house, but now I had to move house again. So hopefully this is something which is permanent. 8:20, here is 2:20 in the night. So it's still early where you are in Tennessee. I'm going through your other comments, Kevin, just to try and find out exactly the name of that channel because I can't find it. No, I can't find them now. I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't think I know what I'm doing here. I don't think I know what I'm doing. It's late. Let's go again here. I have a glare on my computer screen from the light, and I'm really struggling to read what's on my computer screen. Let me see if I can find it. It seems, is that not happening to you? Like when you are trying to find something, you just can't find it, but when you're not looking for it, that's when you see it. This is kind of what's happening to me. Yeah. I'm sorry, Kevin. I cannot find that comment for the life of me. I'm trying. Have you always followed true crime? I think some people have been rude to Mountain Girl. Hope she comes back. I haven't always followed true crime. I've only started having an interest in it last year, I think it was. Yes, last year in 2020. I started off with Madeleine McCann missing case. I saw it in the news and I got interested in it because to me from the beginning it seemed weird, the whole story of Madeleine McCann and how she went missing. So that's how I started with this really. But I'm really struggling to follow a certain schedule of uploading videos or going live because I have 2 kids and the smallest one, he will be 5 in October, but he is really a handful. So yeah, that's why you don't really get much notice when I go live because I can't give you time. I tried so many times previously to go live at certain times, schedule it in advance so you guys are notified, but a few times that didn't work out, and so I stopped doing that. For you, so for you it was the Watts case. I did a video on the Watts case, but if I'm also honest with you, I was so affected by what he did to his family that I can't talk about it in depth. So I will talk about him, about Chris Watts. I don't care because he's there's no nice word out there for him. But I can't describe what he did to his family because it's just no. So Kevin is saying Madeline was so precious. Yes, she was. But I think that there is a lot more going on in that case than an abduction. I don't believe for a second there was an abduction there. Shannon was beautiful and a very good mom. I know that a lot of people are saying that she was controlling and I don't know what, but no matter how she was, and no matter how the girls were, they did not deserve what happened to them. Nothing ever justifies killing someone, that especially your own family. And for what? For a woman? Skippy is saying, I just stumbled in here for the first time tonight. I've enjoyed it. Thank you, Catalina. Thank you so much for joining. I hope I'll see you next time. Kevin is saying the parents were involved with those type of people in Madeline's case. Yes, I have a lot of videos on Madeleine McCann's case, breaking down so many things, including the guests at the time, and you would be surprised how many connections I found with high-profile individuals. This was no case of abduction. And this was no case of accident and then cover-up. I don't believe that for a second. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Oh yes, some in the US too. Yes, yes. That is my my next video on Madeleine McCann, the US connection, the Washington connection. So I'm still working on that, on the Madeleine McCann case. I'm still making videos. That was actually the main focus of the channel before I started looking at other cases as well, because I didn't feel like it was fair for me to put up all the time only into Madeleine McCann. There are so many other cases out there that are worth talking about them and raising awareness, really. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. They are coming soon, the videos. I don't know, Kevin, if you've been in the chat to see, my memory is so short. It's unbelievable. I feel like I'm 70 or 80. But sometimes, yeah, I find it difficult to even remember my own name. Okay, never mind. I'm getting ahead of myself here. But I was talking a bit earlier in the chat about how I found some similarities between Dawn's interview and Giselle West's interview. And I said that I'm going to be watching them side by side to see if I find any more similarities, because I have a feeling that Dawn sort of got inspired from Giselle's interview. And Skippy was telling me a bit earlier that Dawn used the word rambunctious as well, which is not like the way Dawn talks. And also it was the same thing with Rizal when he used rambunctious. He was out of his, the way that he talks. So I said to myself, I'm just going to watch them side by side, and if I find similarities, I'm going to be making a video on that on this channel. Skip is saying, actually, I do think Maddie was a negligent and culpable accident and cover-up, but that's just me. I am not so sure about that. I have done a lot of in-depth research into this, into Madeleine McCann. If you look at my channel and at my previous videos, you will see that most of my videos are around Madeleine McCann. So I honestly don't believe that it was a negligent accident. Or it could have been an accident, but there's more to it than just a negligent accident. Thank you so much, Kevin. I'm 33. Yes. Finally, I remembered my age, because usually, and it was my husband, what my age is, because I can never remember my age. You see? Kevin is saying, I kind of think Madeline is still alive. I'm not sure about that. She would be 18 already. She is already an adult. She would be an adult already. Now, the most interesting question that I ask myself is, why is the funding into Operation Grange still happening when she's already 18? She's turned 18. Why is she still a ward of court if she's an adult now? There's so many questions there. A lot. Oh, Kevin, you're still young. You are young. Skip is saying, just the most likely scenario is what I go for. Doctors, access to drugs, wanting to party. Then how do you explain the government's involvement in this? All the funding, all the money that they've put into the investigation, into the funding. Even now, after Madeline turned 18, when she's still an adult, the parents are still receiving funding for the search for Madeline. Well, not the parents, the investigators, Operation Grange. But they became rich. They became rich after Madeline McCann disappeared. Kate McCann, she published a book, not only one, but I think that 2 books as well. And in the book, she says that she talks about Madeline, but most of it is only about herself. You see, they've tried to sue everybody to try and win libel cases. It's just be ridiculous, and the government is still supporting them. Why? Is it because they are doctors? It's very unlikely, because there are so many other doctors who, let's say, for example, that they do a certain crime, but they don't get as much support as the McCanns did, which is very interesting. No, she's not. Kate McCann, she's no longer working as a doctor. Well, when she went missing, she would have been 4, and the twins were 3, isn't it? So yeah, the twins are 16. Did you read the book from the book that Kate McCann wrote? I also made some videos on the book as well. No, actually, I only made one video on the book. The most disgusting things that she talks about in the book, which she claims is about Madeline, but it's nothing to do with Madeline. It's mostly about Kate's and Jerry's relationship and how they felt after Madeline went missing, and how everybody blamed them, and how it's not their fault that she was abducted. I didn't read it as well. I didn't read it because I didn't want to give them more money, if I'm honest with you. I found a blog where the book is screenshotted, and that's how I picked the most disgusting things in the book. I couldn't even show that in the live that I did on discussing the book, because apparently it's protected by copyright, and anybody who is found sharing the book online without having purchased it, then they can get sued. So I didn't want to do that. The Labour Party. Skippy is saying the Labour Party wanted so much needed public support, especially from a non-political issue. It also has a lot to do with immense power of the tabloids in the UK. It became a national obsession. Okay, that is plausible, but then why is the support still happening after so long? Surely one politician could stop all this. That's why I find it suspicious that it's so much government involvement here. It's unbelievable. I mean, they've been escorted from the airport by MI5, by Secret Services, in black vans to their home for their protection. It wasn't like they were celebrities, was it? It wasn't like they were some kind of, politician or whatever to be protected like that. To me, just that, there are so many things which just don't make sense. Also, the amount of doctors and medical professionals that were staying at the resort at the same time as Madeline's parents and Madeline, it's astounding. It's more than 20 people. It feels as if there was a medical conference going on there. It feels as if it wasn't a family holiday, but a work holiday. So anyway, it's a lot to explain in one video, because I have tons of videos only on focusing only on Madeline McCann. Most of my videos here on the channel are on Madeline McCann. I just decided I want to diversify what I talk about, because I didn't find it so fair to just focus on one. Oh, Christian Brugner, that is just a patsy. That's just a scapegoat. They have no evidence at all to connect him to Madeline McCann. They keep saying that he's a pedo and he raped I don't know who, but who he raped was an old woman. And we know when you are a sexual abuser, or how can I say it? When you sexually abuse people, you normally have a type. You don't just, now you rape an old woman and then you go about a child, and a 4-in-1 on holiday at that. There are just so many things that to me don't make sense. There is still support going on. Even now they've given them funding, a couple of £100. a couple of £100,000. They ask for new funding every 6 months, although there's nothing new. They don't bring anything new, but the funding is still happening. Why? Why? It's been going on for ages, since she went missing. Yes, if you if you have a look in depth at the Madeleine McCann case, the lead investigator in Portugal, I mean the British media, Kate McCann and Jerry McCann, they tried their best to completely discredit the Portuguese police and the lead investigator, Gonzalo Amaral, and the McCanns completely destroyed his life only because he dared to say that they are responsible for Madeleine McCann's disappearance. They've taken him through court. He has a book published, which they didn't even allow the book to be sold in the UK, only because his opinion was different to theirs. So they got, for example, Clarence Mitchell. Clarence Mitchell, he worked for the government, and then he went working for them. How? Why? Why did that happen? It's not something which just a normal doctor would have. We are not talking about here about some kind of a celebrity. They were just doctors. They were doctors before Madeleine McCann went missing. And then everything just happened. And Clarence Mitchell left his job from the government. Clarence Mitchell is a PR. He left his job for the government to go and work for the McCanns when Madeleine went missing. Although nobody knew that she's not coming back, did they? I mean, if your child is abducted and you keep on going with the same theory over and over again, you think that they will be coming home. So why would someone leave their job, which was a secure job, for a job which can end tomorrow? Because maybe she's coming back tomorrow, right? There are just so many things. Up until now, the total funding that they received from the government over all these years is £13 million. 13 million. I am not exaggerating. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. You can check everywhere. Plus that they have in their bank account in the company, which is Find Madeleine Fund, but it's a private company. They have a couple of £1 million as well. Plus they are also selling books and they earn royalties from that. So it's a money maker. It's a money maker. Yes, Skippy, I agree. It was very weird. And it was Clarence Mitchell who actually arranged for them to go and see the Pope. He was the one who got into contact with someone near the Pope, and they got a meeting. And also the Pope, what he did at the beginning when he found out what happened, he was very sympathetic to the parents, and he put Madeleine's details on his website, on the website. But then when the Pope found out that the parents were made suspects in Portugal, he removed every single trace of Madeleine on the website. Kevin is saying, I saw an older video that a man overheard people talking about Madeleine, saying she was at a party they attended, rich politicians. Yes, I know those were rumors. Honestly, I couldn't. I have heard about that, yes, but I couldn't find a lot of information. You know, yeah, I remember that. This was another possible sighting. Oh, I'll tell you exactly what happened. Yeah, I remember now. It's actually in Gonzalo Amaral's book, in The Lead Investigator from Portugal. So what happened was that whilst they were still in Portugal, they received so many tips from all over the world with sightings, including one email from a sheikh saying that Madeleine McCann was there at that party. She was underage, and it was a party with sheikhs and Arab people, right? And there was another police officer, a British police officer, who was working at the time with the Portuguese police in Portugal. And this British police officer said that he remembers about this sighting, but the funny thing was that somebody else sent an email about this, but they didn't mention Madeleine McCann, but they mentioned the case about an underage girl at a party with sheiks and Arab people. But it was much earlier when Madeleine went missing. So it was before she went missing, but this email is coming to surface only now when the investigation on Madeleine McCann is ongoing. So it was, again, a false sighting. That was a false sighting. The sightings happened in a matter of hours all over the world. They got tips from everywhere, all over the world. They were trying to overwhelm the Portuguese police, and they were also trying to make them look incompetent. So a lot of these sightings were paid sightings. So actually, somebody paid somebody to say that they saw Madeleine McCann. This is coming from private detectives who were hired by the McCann team. And then they left the company and they published a book claiming all these things, that the McCann's team, legal team and PR team paid a lot of people to say that they saw Madeleine McCann, to come up with these sightings. It's very hard for me to show you everything, because obviously I can't, me talking, it doesn't make it any true. But if you do watch my previous videos, all the evidence that I found, or alleged evidence, I can't say it's evidence, but all the information that I found is in those videos, screenshots, emails, websites, whatever is there. But it's very funny because these things, they disappear over time, like they just whoosh. Yeah, to get more funding, yes. Because the parents, they are, to this day, they are still saying that she was abducted, that she's missing, and they refuse to believe that she is dead. The German police is saying that they have evidence that she is dead, but they don't release anything. So again, we don't know. But I think that I'm ready to end this live. The fake leads, they started happening before the McCanns hired private detectives. So the leads went to the Portuguese police. From the first day when Madeleine McCann went missing, that's when the leads started. And over time, it amounted to so many, but none of them proved anything really. Okay, guys, I'm going to end the video. It's been like now, it's been over 2 hours. I can't even talk anymore. This is what happens when it's night and I'm tired. So I hope you enjoyed this live, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Keep an eye. It will happen very, very shortly. Maybe I'm going to be doing another live. Take care, guys. Thanks for joining. Bye.